Hi students, in this session I am going to teach you NCERT exemplar questions from some basic concepts of chemistry. Let's start the session. First question. Two students performed the same experiment. Let us say student A. See here, student A and student B. These two students performed the experiment and they got the readings. These are the readings. A student got this readings. These two are the readings. First experiment gave for A student got 3.01. Second experiment he got 2.99. And second student got first experiment 3.05 is a value. And second experiment he got 2.95. Now question is, actually the correct reading is 3 grams. But these two students got, these are the readings they got. Based on given data, mark the correct option out of the following. So which is the correct one? All the 4 options, if you read precise, accurate, click on pass and read. Both are accurate, precise, or A is accurate and precise, B is accurate and precise. Like that 4 different options is given. So first you need to understand what is an accurate and what is precise. For example, see here. You want to measure this distance. This distance is 10 centimeter. And when you are doing an experiment, you measured it and you got 9.9 centimeter. And one more reading you got 10.9 centimeter. First time you measured, you got 9.9. And second time you measured, you got 10.9. And your friend, he also measured this distance. First time he measured, he got 10 centimeter. And second time he measured, he got 10 centimeter exactly. So if you observe here, your value, first value is close to the real value. Correct value, your value is close. Okay, so you can say that this value is somewhat accurate value, little accurate value. But your value is not a precise value. What do you mean by this accurate and precise? See here, student B got exactly same value to the real value. So when compared to this value, this is correct value as a real value. So this is an accurate reading. Accurate, and this is also an accurate. Second reading also accurate reading. Coming to the precise means first reading and second reading should be very close. Then we can say precise. See here, first reading and second reading are not close. Then it is not precise. So I want to tell you the exact meaning of accuracy. Accuracy indicates how close a measurement to the correct or accepted value. So here 3.01 he got. So this 3.01 is close to the real value, and even 2.99 also close to the real value. So these two are accurate values. Accurate means your measurement will be close to the standard measurement. That is called as an accurate. Coming to the precision, it indicates closeness of 2 or more measurements to each other. So these two values should be close. It is not regarding our standard value, not regarding this value. These two values only, what are first experiment and second experiment values should be close. See here, this is 3.01 and this is 2.9 and almost just 0. That's it, difference. But here you can see here completely 1 point is a difference. 1 point is a difference. So you can say that here, here 0.02 is a difference, here just 1 is a difference. So this is in more precise. This is a precise. So precise means your measurement will be similar every time you measure. Every time you measure, your measurement should be similar. So A is accurate as well as A is precise. Then your option is results of A student A are both precise as well as an accurate. Second option is a correct answer. Okay. Now let us see the second question. A measure temperature on the Fahrenheit scale is 200 degree F. What will this reading be on a Celsius scale? So we have a formula. Fahrenheit conversion is 9/5 degrees Celsius plus 32. This is a formula. Now directly substitute 200 Fahrenheit here, 9/5 degrees Celsius plus 32. Then 9/5 degrees Celsius means 200 minus 32, which is 168. And then degree Celsius is equal to, move the 5 this side, then 168 into 5/9. Okay, now solve this one. 168 into 5, 40, 6 5 30, 34, 3 5 8 40. Okay, now 840 divided by 9. Then 9 840, 9 9s are 81, then 30 left, then 9 3s are 27, then 3.0, then 3s are 27. So you are getting around 93.3. Check that. That is option 3. Okay, so correct answer is option 3. Now the next question is, what will be the molarity of a solution which contains 5.85 gram of NaCl per 500 ml? They are asking us molarity. What is the formula to calculate molarity, my dear students? Molarity is equal to number of moles of solute dissolved per liter of volume. This is per liter. Now number of moles, how to calculate? Weight by molar mass into 1 by V. V is in liter, or if you want to calculate in milliliters, 1000 by V is in milliliters. Okay. Now molarity is equal to, weight is already given in a question. Just substitute 5.85. NaCl molar mass is, sodium is 23 and chlorine is 35.5 is its molar mass, then 58.5. So substitute 58.5 into 1000 by volume given in question is 500 ml. Then 500 ones are 2s. Then remove the points. 585 by 585. If you remove 2 decimals, you need to put 100 here. If you remove 1 decimal, you have to put here. Then 0 cancel. It is 0.2. Molarity unit is N by V, right? Mole per liter. So our answer is option 3. 0.2. Is it clear, my dear students? Next question is, if 500 ml of a 500 ml of a 5 molar solution is diluted to 1500 ml, what will be the molarity of the solution obtained? So we have a formula, M1V1 equal to M2V2. Okay, now see here, molarity is given initially 5 molar. So here it is 5 molar, substitute it 5 into volume is 500, which is equal to M2, you need to calculate. Final volume is given 1500, substitute 1500, then M2 is equal to 5 into 500 by 1500, then 1s are 3s are. So 5 by 3. 5 by 3 is how much, my dear students? 3 ones are 3, then 2 0, 3 6 are 18, 2 0, 3 6 are 18. So we get an answer around 1.66 units for molarity is capital M. Then our answer is 1.66 molar. This is our correct answer. Is it clear? Now next question is, number of atoms present in 1 mole of an element is equal to Avogadro number. So 1 mole is Avogadro number. which of the following element contains greatest number of atoms? Which is having a more number of atoms? How you will calculate? If more is the number of moles, more will be the atoms, because 1 mole means 6.023 into 10 power of 23 atoms, or 2 you can write. So if number of moles increases, number of atoms also increases. Then by using these data, you have to calculate number of moles. Let us see the first one. Number of moles, what is the formula? Weight by molar mass. Weight is given 4 gram by molar mass of helium is 4. So this is 1 mole. 1 mole means Avogadro number of atoms. Na number of atoms. Second one, number of moles equal to weight is 46. 46 by molar mass of sodium is 23. Then you get 2. 2 moles means 2 into Avogadro number of atoms. Is it clear, my dear students? Now, third one. 0.40 gram. 0.40 gram means weight by molar mass is 40, which means that 0.1 mole. 0.1 mole means 0 into Avogadro number of atoms. Last case is fourth case. Number of moles is weight by 12 by molecular weight of helium is 4, which means that 3 means how many number of atoms? 3 into Avogadro number of atoms. If you see in all the 4 options, which is having more number of atoms, 3 into these many number of atoms. So in this case, it is a correct answer. More number of atoms. More is the number of moles. More is the number of atoms. Is it clear? Now see the next question. If the concentration of glucose in the blood is this much, then what is the molarity? What do you mean by molarity? What is the formula of molarity? Molarity means number of moles of solute dissolved in 1 liter of solution. So here number of moles, how can you calculate? Weight by molar mass into 1 by V. Okay, so in a question, 9.6 gram is dissolved per 1 liter is given. 0.9 gram is dissolved in 1 liter. So this is a weight, this is a volume. Substitute both. 0.9 by molar mass for glucose, if you calculate it, you will get 6 into 12 plus each height 12 into 1 plus 6 into 16. If you solve this, you get 180 is a molar mass. 180 into 1 by 1. So remove a point. 9 by 80, 0, 0. So 1s are 2. Then 1 by 2 is 0.5. By still 100 is left, then it is 0.005 molar. This is your answer. This is option number 3. Is it clear? And next question is, what will be the molality of a solution containing 18.25 gram of HCl gas in to 500 gram of water? So the question they are asking is to calculate molality. What is the formula of molality, my dear students? Number of moles of solute dissolved in W gram of a solvent or W kg of a solvent. We want in a gram, so the formula is number of moles of solute by W gram into 1000. This is a molality. Is it clear? This is a molality. So molality is equal number of moles. How to calculate? Weight by molecular weight into 1000 by W in a grams. Okay, this W gram is a solvent weight. Weight of solute, how much is given? 18.25. Substitute it. Divided by molecular weight of HCl is, chlorine is 35.5 and hydrogen is 1, so 36.5. Now HCl is 36.5 into 1000 by weight of solvent is 500. 1 sir, 2 sir, 1 sir, 2 sir, 2 will be cancelled. Then 1 molar. Unit is small m. Molality unit is small m. Then your answer is option 4. Now the next question is, 1 mole of any substance contain 6.022 into 10 power of 23 atoms or molecules. Means 1 mole is having Avogadro number of molecules. Calculate number of molecules of H2SO4 present in 100 ml of 0.02 molar H2SO4 solution. See students, what you need to do is, we have a formula, molarity is equal to N by V. First calculate a number of moles. If you calculate a number of moles, then you can find the number of molecules. Number of moles, how can you calculate it? Molarity into volume. So this is a formula when volume is in liter. If you want in milliliter, into 1000 you need to do. So this 1000 comes to the denominator. Then molarity is what? 0.02 into volume is 100 ml by total volume is 1000. Then 0 will be cancelled. Then 2 into 10 power of minus 3 moles. And these many moles are present. Okay, 1 mole is Avogadro number. Avogadro number in the sense how much? 6.022 or 23 into 10 power of 23. Or now these many moles. 2 into 10 power of minus 3 moles. Just you need to do cross multiplication. Okay, do a cross multiplication. Then you get 6.022 into 10 power of 23. Then your value will be 12.044 into 10 power of 20 molecules. This is your correct answer. Okay, so your answer is this one. Next, what is the mass percent of carbon in carbon dioxide? Now what you need to do is, you have to calculate a carbon percentage. How can you calculate carbon percentage in carbon dioxide? Is amount of carbon present among total. Carbon atomic mass is 12 by total mass is 44. 12 by 44 into 100. Just to solve this you will get it. 4 11 sir, 4 3 sir. So 300 by 11. 300 by 11. How much? 300 by 11 is 11 2 sir 22. Then 80 is left. Then 11 7 sir 77. 3 is left. Put a point over here. And then you will be having put a 0 over here. 11 2s are 22. So you are getting almost 27.2%. 27.2%. So what is the correct answer here, my dear students? Option 2 is the correct. And see the next question. Empirical formula and molecular mass of a compound are. This is empirical formula. Empirical formula is CH2. Empirical formula represents the simplest ratio of a molecular formula. Okay, and here molecular mass is how much? 180. Based on this empirical formula, you can calculate a mass. 12 plus 2 plus 16. Total it is 14 plus this is 30. Then you need to find integer value, n value. How to find integer? Molar mass by empirical formula mass is a formula. Molar mass formula 180. Molar mass in the sense molecular formula mass, I mean to say. Molecular formula mass 180 and divided by empirical formula mass is how much, my dear students? It is 30. Then n value is 6. What is this n value? Molecular formula is n times that of empirical formula. So empirical formula is CH2O and this is n times. Then it is 6 times C6H12O6. This is a procedure to calculate. Your answer is third option. And see the next question. If the density of a solution is 3.12 gram per milliliter, the mass of 1.5 ml solution in the significant figures is. So we know a formula, density is equal to mass by volume. Okay. Now mass is equal to density into volume. What is the density given in a question is 3.12 into volume is 1.5. Now multiply these two. I am removing the decimal. I will use a simple calculation trick over here. 3, 1. If you want to know how I'm doing this calculation, I already uploaded a video on this. You can watch the video so that you can understand how I did. See here, 5 ones are 5 here. Okay. Then 0, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay, 4680. I got 4680 and then 1, 2, 3. 3 decimals I need to move. So 4.680 is a mass. This is a mass. Okay, but here they're asking us in scientific figures. Scientific figures means you need to round it off this number exactly. When you are multiplying, then what you have to do is, here I will show you one point. See, when you are doing addition or a subtraction, what you have to do is you have to check least number of decimal points. But when you are doing multiplication and division, you have to see least number of significant figures. This is important. See here, you copy this one, click on pass and just to copy. If you add these two numbers, you have to round it off. How you have to, for example, I'm not going to discuss now you have to round it off. I just round it off to 84.7. But why only to 3 decimals? Because you need to actually check least number of not significant figures, decimal, 1 decimal. Why? Because when you are doing addition or a subtraction, least number of decimal points means after a point, you check here. Here only 1 decimal is there. After a point 3 decimals is there, which is the least one. This is the least one. So minimum 1 decimal should be there after a point. That's why I round it off to 84.7. Okay. And now check in case of multiplication or a division. When we are doing multiplication or a division, you have to see based on least number of significant figures. Check here. After a decimal, if see how many significant figures here, total 3 significant figures. Here how many significant figures? 2 significant figures. So you have to round it off to only 2 significant figures. In this case you should not see decimals. Based on decimals you should not see. See, decimals means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 decimals will be the case. So least decimal means this one. No, you should when you are doing multiplication, division, least number of significant figures. These two are the good examples to understand when you have to use what. Okay. So our answer is you have to round it off to minimum decimal, which is having an least number of significant figures. Here is least number of significant figures 1.5. Only one significant figure it is having. So you have to round it off to only one total 2 significant figures you have to round it off. Round it off. It is less than 5. Remove directly. This number is greater than 5. When any number is greater than 5, when you are removing, before number you have to add plus 1. So 4.7 is our correct answer. Okay, so first option is our correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following statements about a compound is correct? See, this is incorrect. You have to check the incorrect statement. A molecule of a compound has atoms of different elements. For example, CO2 is there. This is a true statement. This is a true statement. CO2 is present. CO2 it is this CO2 compound. Let us take one molecule, CO2 molecule. Now it is having a carbon atoms and it is having an oxygen element atoms also. So it is having a different element atoms. Carbon is one element, oxygen is another element. Carbon element atoms also will be present. Oxygen element atoms also present. So this is a true statement. And a compound cannot be separated into constituent elements by any physical methods of separation. Yes, you cannot separate carbon dioxide into carbon individually and oxygen individually by physical methods. This is also a true statement. And a compound retains the physical properties of its constant elements. Retains in the sense it should have. For example, if you mix carbon and oxygen and you are getting carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon is a solid and oxygen is a gas and you are getting a gas. It is a gas which is useful for, we can take this gas inside, but this gas is it is useful for our, combustion of a food material, but it is not useful. So it says that its properties should be same physical properties, but here these physical properties, solid, gas, these are different and it is a different. So a compound cannot retain the properties. So this is a false statement. They are asking the false statement. A compound cannot retain the physical properties. This is a correct statement. And next one is the ratio of atoms of different elements in a compound is always fixed. Yes, my dear students, this is a law of constant proportion. Carbon is always 12 gram and oxygen is always 32 gram. So this is 4:3 sir and 4:8 sir. They are reacting in 3:8 ratio. 3:, so this is also an true statement. Okay, so this is also correct statement. Let us see the next question. See the next question. Which of the following statements is correct about the reaction given below? 4 Fe are reacting with 3 oxygen and forming Fe2O3. Total mass of iron and oxygen in reactants is equal to total mass of iron and oxygen. Yeah, it is correct. As per law of conservation of mass, total mass of reactants is equal to total mass of products. Total mass of reactants is equal to total mass of a products as per law of conservation of mass. So this is an correct statement, my dear students. First option only lucky. And the total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of product, correct. So therefore the law of this is not law of multiple proportion, that is law of conservation of mass. Amount of Fe2O3 can be increased by taking any of the reactants in excess. See here, you cannot say which one. If suppose they react in 4:3 ratio. So always you have to maintain that ratio. Instead, if you increase any one, you cannot increase the product. It depends on a limiting reagent. Amount of Fe2O3 produced will decrease if the amount of any one of the reactants is either you cannot increase or you cannot decrease. But it depends upon which one is a limiting reagent in that. So this question option 1 is correct. Which of the following reactions is not correct according to law of conservation of mass? What law of conservation of mass says that always mass of reactants is equal to mass of products. Reactant mass is equal to product mass. So here 2 magnesium reacts with 1 oxygen and it forms 2 magnesium oxides. And in this case, if you suppose see here C3H8 is reacting with O2, if you observe this reaction is not balanced. Always law of conservation of mass is always for a balanced reaction. Okay, this is always for a balanced reaction. This is not a balanced reaction. That's why law of conservation of mass is not applicable to this reaction because it is not balanced. Remaining all are balanced, so it is applicable. And next question is, which of the following statement indicates that law of multiple proportion is being followed? Sample of carbon dioxide taken from any source will always have carbon and oxygen atom in 1:2 ratio. See here, one atom, if you think this is one atom and this is two atom. So this is one atom and this is two atom. They're asking us law of multiple proportions, but this is the definition of law of constant proportions. Law of constant proportions. Constant proportion. So this statement is wrong statement. This is a correct statement, but it is not law of multiple proportions. Carbon forms 2 oxides, namely CO2 and CO, where mass of oxygen which combine with a fixed mass of carbon are in the simple ratio of 2:1. So here carbon is combining with the oxygen element and it is forming, one is a CO, another one is CO2. If you you observe as per a question CO2 and CO. Now here carbon mass is fixed 12 gram and here also 12 gram, and this is reacting with oxygen. This is how many grams, my dear students? 32 gram, and here oxygen is 16 gram. So 16 ones are 16 twos are 2:1 ratio. So what is the ratio? 2:1 ratio. Then this is a correct statement. So this is a correct statement. And now when magnesium burns in oxygen, the amount of magnesium taken for the reaction is equal to the amount. See, when magnesium is reacting with oxygen, it is, suppose it is forming a magnesium oxide, then how much magnesium is present here? Same amount will be present here. That is a law of conservation of mass. So this is not a law of constant proportion and the law of multiple proportions, and this is also not law of multiple proportions. So your answer is a second option. I hope this video is helpful for you. My name is Komali. I am your chemistry mentor. Thank you so much for watching this video.